Once again, happy Easter to you. I realized that Easter felt different this year. It was harder to be with people. It was harder to feel maybe the joy and the celebration that normally comes with Easter. It probably felt a little bit more like Lent than we would like Easter to feel like. And yet, the church still is inviting us into the joy and the celebration that is Easter. And so today, I just want to take a moment and reflect on the importance of celebration and worship during this Easter season. You know, Easter always lands on Sunday because Jesus rose from the dead on Sunday. But why? Why did Jesus rise from the dead on Sunday? Remember that Sunday is the first day of the week. If you rewind to the very beginning of the Bible, that is when God started the act of creation. He started creating the universe on the first day. And so in some ways, the resurrection marks the beginning of the recreation. Creation at the beginning of time, but Jesus' resurrection is the recreation. And I love that word, recreation. We probably use it frequently enough. We just pronounce it recreation. But I think that should challenge us to think about, do we use our recreation in a way that's actually recreative for our souls? If something's really genuinely recreative, it's giving us life within our hearts. It's helping us to engage in the things that really matter. Does our recreation do that? Or do we engage in recreation that is merely a distraction, or it's merely an escape? There's a really great book called Leisure, the Basis of Culture by Joseph Pieper. He's a Catholic philosopher, and it's a short read, can be a little bit dense in places. It's really beautiful, his reflection on our need as human beings to experience leisure. He actually quotes Aristotle in here, and Aristotle says that we work in order to have leisure. And I think there's a whole lot of people that experience that, right? We put in a busy 40, 50, 60-hour week sometimes, and we're doing it all with this goal that I need to have the whole weekend to myself. I need this weekend to go on this trip, whatever it might be. Like, we look forward to the leisure. The work is a means to an end. Leisure is really an end in itself. Pieper here says that leisure, the highest form of leisure, is celebration. So like celebrating someone's birthday or celebrating a holiday. He says that celebration is the highest form of leisure because it's impossible to have kind of a mixed intention with that. Like, we're just celebrating for the sake of celebrating. And there's nothing else to do except to just let our hearts go with it, to engage in that joy and to engage in the peace that it brings. And then he goes on to say that the highest form of celebration is worship of God. Let me read to you a quote here towards the end of his book, Leisure, the Basis of Culture. He says here, the act of worship creates a store of real wealth that cannot be consumed by the workaday world. Isn't that incredible? When we worship, we are encountering, engaging with the God of the universe who loves us personally as his own children. And when we engage in that encounter, he opens up this place in our heart where he dwells. And in the words of this author, it opens up a store of wealth within our hearts that cannot be stolen from us. So that would be, we'd use the word abide. When we when we engage in worship, then the Lord abides within us. He remains within us so that when the anxieties of the world, when the stresses of the work, when the whole universe feels like it's kind of crushing in on us, we can remain strong because we are feeding off of this store of wealth that the Lord has given to us thanks to our worship. And so as we enter into the Easter season, you might be tempted to say, well, Lent's over. I'm done with my prayer commitments and my Lent commitments that I had. But really, this is the time to engage more deeply in worship. Now is the time to engage more deeply in celebration and gratitude and just adoration of God for all that he is and all who he is. And so today, I invite all of us to encounter the God of the universe, spend extra time in prayer, be with the Lord in worship, and thank him for who he is and what he's done for us, because that will build for us a store in our hearts that cannot be stolen by the anxieties of the world. God bless you.